Ladies and gentlemen, let's get this meeting started tonight. We've got a lot of great candidates that want to speak to you. They've worked really hard to prepare hopefully a 2-minute elevator speech. We got a lot of people running. It's a great year to be a Republican. I was thinking tonight on the way over here, I was born in '57. I can remember 12 presidents in my lifetime, starting with John Kennedy. I can't remember a bigger disaster than we have now. I think it's going to be a tremendous year for our candidates. If I could sum up the Republican strategy for the coming year, I saw a great sign that said, vote Republican. We may not be perfect, but the other side is insane. So as Henry VIII said to all his 6 wives, I won't keep you long. At this time, we'd like to recognize our elected officials that are here and not running for office. And we'll start with Mr. Kyle Pritchard, Mayor of Spring Hope. If you stand up a moment. Tony Bennett, Town Board of Red Oak. Mr. Bennett. Matthew Winslow, NC House. Great job, Mr. Well, good for Matthew. What an inspiration he's been these past 2 years. Sue Leggett, our county commissioner. Sue, happy Ag Day. Now we will be welcoming a lady from Fayetteville who is a vice chair of the Republican Party. She's been active in our party for many years. Serving as the president of the North Carolina Federation of Republican Women in the past. She is a public school teacher in Fayetteville, North Carolina, married for 38 years with one daughter who I believe she told me was a Trump appointee. Susan Mills, would you come speak with us for a minute?
Good evening. It's great to be here in Nash County and see so many people, and especially to see my good friend Ricky Parks out there. So I haven't seen him in a while. Yes, I'm vice chair of the state party, and I would be telling a story if I said I was not enjoying it. I am loving every minute of it. It's great to be able to get out and meet people like you all, and that we all have the same views and moral values, and that's a great thing. A little bit about some of the things the party's been doing. We've been very busy. We've had a Family First Forum in Greensboro where we brought in RNC Chairwoman Ronna McDaniel, and we also had Congresswoman Virginia Fox there, as well as State Superintendent Catherine Truitt. They talked some on education and CRT, the things that are so important to us and the things that we want to keep out of our school, that's CRT. So that was very informative, and we're going to do some more of those Family First forums across the state. We also have been working really hard on voter integrity, and I think that's something that we all want to make certain that our elections are fair. So I've brought some of these cards. I don't know if you have, where is Chairman Edwards, if y'all have these, but okay, great. You can get these cards and click on the QR code, and it will get your information so you can volunteer to work the polls. And speaking of that, we need lots of poll observers, poll workers. So for Nash County alone, you guys have, according to my information, 3 early voting sites, and that's for 15 days. And there's 3 shifts per day. So you're going to need 135 people just for that early voting. When you add in the 24 voting sites that you have on Election Day, you need a total of 207 shifts covered to make certain that you have all of your voting polls covered and with eyes on what is going on. And again, that is so important to make certain, because when we're there, we see what's going on. And whenever you see a problem, There's going to be attorneys waiting on your call at NCGOP. And in fact, my daughter's coming home to do some of that. So we need you guys. All total across the state, we need about 25,000 shifts covered. That's an awful lot. But I know that this is important to everyone because 2022 is our year. So get out there and volunteer to help. Do whatever you can to help. And with 2022 being our year, there's things that we do need to remember. 3-2-1 is one of the big things we need to remember. We need to keep what we have in the House and get 3 more House seats. We need 2 in the Senate, and we need 1 on the Supreme Court. If we had 1 more Supreme Court justice, we would not be in this mess that we've been in. That is so important. Our judges are our defense, and we need to make certain we don't forget about that we get out and we support our judges. We do whatever we can for the candidates, and we get a conservative, Christian, Republican judge elected to state Supreme Court. We also need to make sure that we get judges on the appeals court as well. So those are the things that I'm tasking you all to do. But I'm also tasking myself to do the same things. I'll be volunteering and doing anything that I can to make sure that we have a successful year. We do have some primaries. Primaries, I think, are a sign of a party that's growing. But primaries can sometimes be divisive. And above all, we cannot be a divided party. In November, we have to come together. So I'm asking you all, too, that on the morning of May the 18th, after the primary, when you get up, whether your candidate won or lost, you decide right then and there that you're going to work for that person that is our nominee. We've got to have that. Without being a unified party, we're never going to win in 2022. Again, please don't get upset. Don't go home. Don't sit at home, because when you do that, you're giving the Democrats a vote, and that's not what you want to do. So get out there and support the candidate that won, no matter what, because, you know, I'm of the philosophy that any Republican is better than a Democrat. So we've got to make sure that we do that. So thank you. I thank you all, excuse me, so much for allowing me to come and speak to y'all a little bit tonight. If you need anything, you can always reach me at headquarters. You can leave us a message if I'm not in, and we've got a lot of great staff up there and a wonderful chairman that's willing to come and do whatever we can to help. So God bless you all, and let's get working on our 2022 Red Wave. Thank you all so much. Have a blessed evening.
Thank you, Ms. Mills. She's exactly right. We've got 8 good quality folks running for Congress this year. After this is over, if they'll all get behind each other, that'll be enough to win. So we got a lot of candidates. Wyatt, could you move up front, please? I don't mean to interrupt, but Wyatt's the timekeeper. And if he'll sit beside Sheriff Stone, no one can say they didn't see him. We're going to have our candidates come up that don't have a primary opponent but are on the ballot, and they're going to introduce themselves and give a couple minutes talk to you guys. And listen closely. They're our horse.
Hi, I'm Turner Tipka. I'm running for County Commissioner in District 6. It's currently a Democrat district, and so our goal is to flip the seat to give us a strong conservative leaning in the county's chair. So I'm not going to take much of your time right now. If you want to get to know me more, know more what I want to do and stand for, feel free to grab me and talk to me. I'll hang around some, and hopefully I get your support.
Good evening, I'm Tom Harris, and I'm running for City Council in Rocky Mount. We need some changes done in Rocky Mount, and I am fortunate that I am unopposed, but there are 3 other races, and folks who live in Rocky Mount in this room this morning, please make every effort to get out to vote, get your neighbors to get out to vote. Other people, we need some good changes to be made in the city of Rocky Mount. Thank you.
Good evening. My name's Ricky Jenkins. You may know me as a school board member this time. However, I've chosen to run for the Nash County Clerk of Court, and like Mr. Harris said, luckily I'm unopposed in the primary. I'm looking your support, your vote in November. Anything you can do to help all the other candidates that are speaking tonight, please do, and I wish you the best.
Good afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you. I can't speak until everybody acts like they're happy, and I'm going to speak about 3 words. I'm Robbie Davis, current chair of the Nash County Board of Commissioners. I am up for election this time, unfortunately, and I do mean that. I do not have opposition. I prefer to have it because it makes us all do a better job when you have opposition, quite frankly. And if you don't have opposition, you really don't have an election. But when you come in to vote, you can still check my name if you're in my district, because you're going to see in the paper how many votes I get, and I don't want it to be a real low number, so please check it anyway. With that said, I'm going to yield my time to my great friend and save it for him, Keystone, which I think we all believe is the greatest sheriff in North Carolina.
What a great job Commissioner Davis has done for this county, hasn't he? At this time, we want to have a guy that needs no introduction, Sheriff Keystone. He's our champion, our law and order guy. So he's seeking his 3rd term. And come on and tell us why we need to do it again.
Thank you. I know oftentimes I've been told that you can't hear in the back. Can all of you hear me? Because I've got a message that I'm wanting to put out that our people need to know. How often are you told it's okay? You know you are. I need some interaction. Well, I'm going to tell you it's not okay. There's a lot going on in this country. There's a lot going on international. You can look into Ukraine. And one of the messages was, we'll wait 30 days and look at it. How much of you want to wait and look and wait and see and procrastinate? I'm just asking. When you look at a ballot box, look at somebody that's going to give you action and that is sincere about what they're going to do. I wanted to go over some stats with you. How many of you live in the city of Rocky Mount? Raise your hand. I read an alarming Telegram post that says that crime has dropped in Rocky Mount. How many of you feel safe in Rocky Mount? Mayor, I'm glad you do, but that's because you got my phone number. And nothing against the city of Rocky Mount. I think that they're trying as much as they can. They're down many officers. They've got a new chief. He's learning his way there. But it takes a partnership. And I will speak one word about my opponent that will run against me in the fall. The first thing when they did an interview, they said, we don't need no federal intervention. How many of you remember that? Well, now all of a sudden it's not popular to understand. And they said that there will be federal intervention. Well, I can tell you, we've got strong federal intervention. Several of my guys are here tonight that work with the feds every day. We get sincere, quick punishment, and we're taking guns, gangs, and drugs to the level that it's never seen in Nash County, and we're enforcing the law. How many of you live? When you look, you had 120 shots fired in the city of Rocky Mountain. That's not your neighbor shooting a squirrel. You had 4 homicides, 13 shootings with injury, 466 shell casings picked up from January to February 28th. That's gangs, guns, and a lot of criminal activity. It's not your legally owned firearms people out here doing these type things. The message that I want to give is you've got to have a strong front of what you're doing. President Kennedy in the 1960s, and I'll go by exactly what he says, it still holds true today. Every society will get the criminal they deserve. Every criminal obviously is going to flourish where there's no law enforcement. But what is equally true, every community will have the law enforcement officer that they want. Very simple. Support your law enforcement. Support the right ideas and the right things that are going on across America today. And thank you for coming out and taking part in this. It's not about a Democrat, it's not about a Republican, it's not about an unaffiliated. If you look, President Biden won Nash County by 53 votes, or 56. I want you to go home to your neighbors and tell them, this is serious business. This isn't no joke. We need to vote for the people that's going to keep our country safe. As you heard a while ago, the stuff in the schools that are putting out there, the only reason it's out there is because the public allows that. You might have to put up at one time, but then when election time rolls around, you don't have to put up with it no more. Know what's going on in the community. One of the other topics that I want to talk about is the amount of drugs that's going across this border today. It was not popular when I first started talking about heroin because that was not really on the forefront of people's minds here. Crack cocaine had already come and gone, kind of. Look at the number of deaths. I spoke with the SBI director last week. He says we're having 12 deaths a day in North Carolina. I've got the numbers here of the number, around 500 and some people a day or a week in your emergency rooms every day, and they keep up with it weekly across North Carolina. 500 and some people. That's a lot of people for overdoses. Look at your students that were down, that were from a war college, who was supposed to be our best of the best. How many of you saw that on the news where they overdosed? And then the ones saving them by CPR, they get contaminated, and they're needing support to live. It's in everywhere that there is today. And the reason is because at first, fentanyl was coming in very slowly, and heroin was the drug. And now you're having more deaths and record numbers than ever before because they're lacing fentanyl with heroin. But now the great thing, and my drug team is sitting here right here with several of them, we're seizing cocaine by record numbers right now. And guess what they're bringing with it? Fentanyl, where they're lacing fentanyl. So the recreational drug user of cocaine thinks he's getting cocaine, you get fentanyl, and you get an overdose and you die. Where does this come back to? It comes back to our open borders. When I first took office, I started sending my men down to the Mexican border. And people were asking, why are you doing that? It's so that we can learn and so that we know firsthand the way that drug traffickers are bringing this contaminants into the United States. Last 2 weeks, I think, if you've looked at the paper, it's proven results of what these men and women are doing, risking their life daily and bringing record numbers of drugs before they get into the community. when kilos of fentanyl is seized out of your city and it takes the mere end of an ink pen to contaminate a family and then you've got a death in that family, it's serious business. And that's why each one of you, I urge you, just don't stay at your house. Get your friends, get your neighbors, people that you don't know, get to know them if they're in your community, and have them to stand up and come out and vote and make sure that they're doing the right things. Because we are in trying times, from the preachers telling you to everybody else tells you, we're in trying times, and we've got to work together to get through this. I'm working so hard for the people of Nash County, and I want to continue to do that for my third term. As our senator said a while ago, how many more times are you going to do? I'm going to do it until I know that I'm not the man for Nash County. But at this time, I'm proud to serve each and every one of you. I'm proud to serve with each one of these people sitting at these tables here. And you've got the most awesome sheriff's office in the nation. And I hope that you're proud of that. Thank you. Thank you.
How about it for that sheriff? Thank you, Sheriff Stone. We now, I believe we're going to have some film, is that right? For how many, we 3? Okay. Sit back and enjoy. We've got some candidates that want, understand we have 2 Senate candidates. Who's the other, Mark? 3 Senate candidates by film. Great. Enjoy.
This is former Governor Pat McCord. I'm sorry I can't make it to your conference tonight in Nash County. I was actually in Rocky Mountain yesterday, but had to make it to another event tonight. Listen, these are serious times, and this is a time for serious leadership, especially when the Washington Siders have failed us miserably. I mean, look at what President Biden and Kamala Harris are doing right now with illegal immigration. They're not enforcing laws on the book. With energy, they're not making ourselves energy independent by unleashing the incredible energy resources that we have in America at this point in time. When I was your governor, I fought for the pipeline from West Virginia into eastern North Carolina so our farmers and other people wouldn't have to use propane and give them more choice to create jobs in eastern North Carolina. Listen, I was the most conservative governor in the history of North Carolina. I actually implemented conservative policies, including cutting your taxes, turning deficits into surpluses, fighting for our community colleges and our engineering and science degrees in our universities where jobs are needed now more than ever. And I was tough on crime and immigration. But more than anything else, I stood up for your values. I never backed down. I never back down because I care more for the next generation than I do the next election. Isn't that what we need now in Washington, D.C. more than ever? People who care more about the next generation and saving the American dream for them than the next election. That's what I want to do, is save the American dream. I need your help. I need your support. God bless America.
Well, hello there, Nash County Republicans. I know I'm not there in person today, but I do look forward to seeing you all in person very soon. So I want to give a special thanks to Chairman Mark Edwards and all the Nash County GOP volunteers that are going to make it possible for Republicans to win up and down the ballot in 2022. So I'm proud to be speaking to you all today as the only candidate in the U.S. Senate race to be endorsed by President Donald J. Trump. President Trump has been a huge help in this race. Rightfully so. People want to know more in the rest of the story. So I'll share just a few things as I've seen your support. First, I want to let you know that I'm a person of faith. The other thing is I want to let you know that I have an agricultural background, and that happens to be the single biggest industry in our state. Also, I'm a small business owner, and I have the privilege of defending the Second Amendment at my gun store and indoor range, and when I'm up in Washington, D.C. Now, I've also been in tough races, and I've been targeted by Nancy Pelosi. and I know how to win, and I beat her by 6 points. And this time, I'm going to do it to Chuck Schumer. So, I'm a proven conservative fighter who not only will win this primary, but can win in November. So I'm asking for, and I'd be honored to earn your prayers, your support, and your vote in this primary and in November. So thank you for your time, and may God bless each and every one of you.
Hello, I'm Mark Walker. It's my wife Kelly for 28 years.
Oh, almost 30.
Yes, Kelly's a nurse practitioner and flew on the trauma helicopters, of course, yes. I'm Mark Walker, and I'm running for the United States Senate, and here's why. We need a conservative senator with a backbone. I was a pastor for 16 years and served the last 6 years in the U.S. Congress, earning the rating, the #1 America First candidate. You see, this is much more about spiritual warfare than it is politics. We've turned our back on the Bible and the Constitution, and our liberty is under attack. We need bold warriors willing to stand in the gap. I'm endorsed by my company, Senator Tim Scott, and a host of others, including being the only Senate candidate endorsed by every GOP sheriff that I have ever represented in Congress. And I just won our first U.S. Senate debate.
That's right.
Yeah, I did. Listen, our evangelical and grassroots teams are exploding across the state, and we want you to be part of it.
Mark is the best candidate to defeat Chuck Schumer and Sherry Beasley. Y'all, we are weeks before the primary election in May, and we're asking for your prayers and your vote.
Absolutely. Send us an email or text Walker to 27101. May God provide the path, and may we have the courage to follow. I'm Mark Walker, and I approve this message. God bless.
We're going to start with candidates for the House, and I reminded that Wyatt here will be hopefully keeping y'all to closely around 2 minutes. But we got a lot to say. This is an important group of folks right here. We all did a little kicking on President Biden, but how many people in here think he's not a very good president? Please raise your hand. Well, I'm going to ask you to do me a favor and our country a favor. You need to pray for him tonight, because Plan B is Kamala Harris and Plan C is Nancy Pelosi. That is the congressional progression. Now, the only way we can do anything about it is capture the House in this election. So one of these guys has got to be sent to Washington so that we'll have a Republican at least in the 3rd seat if something were to happen to these folks. I married a lady from New Jersey. We're all guys. I'm sorry. Anyway, come up, introduce yourself, and you have 2 minutes. Thank you.
Good evening. My name is Brad Murphy, and yes, I am the captain of the congressional baseball team from District 1. It's a beautiful team. I grew up in Raleigh. I'm going to tell you a little bit about myself, but before I do that, there isn't a single person in this race who doesn't share our faith in God, country, and family, and conservative values. So I'm going to spend the next minute and a half telling you what else you need to know about me. I grew up in Raleigh. I met my wife on a school bus at the age of 14, my lovely wife, Julie. 2 years later, we were best friends. 2 years later after that, we were married. We'll be married 42 years this summer. We have 2 beautiful children, very successful. My daughter has a thriving internet business in the social media marketing space, and my son works for Elon Musk. He graduated valedictorian from NC State after my wife, lovely wife Julie, homeschooled him from 2nd grade to college. Our family is about achievement and excellence in everything that we do. So that's a little bit about my background. My business success. I've started 3 globally successful tech digital businesses. I've created over 5,000 jobs, lucrative jobs, more than any other candidate combined, both on the Republican and the Democratic race for District 1. And a big reason why I'm running is because there's a huge opportunity to turn around the fortunes and the prosperity in this district. But before we do that, we have to do something about the nonsense in Washington, D.C. Inflation, we know about that. The wall, simple. I'll give you a BOGO. Buy one, get one free. We're going to close down the Department of Education. We're going to take 80 of that $85 billion. We're going to redeploy it for school choice, and we're going to take $5 billion and spend it on the wall every year until it's done. I'm a visionary. I'm a leader. I'm an innovator. I'm a disruptor, and I'm a job creator. Very few of those qualities can you talk about for anybody in Congress. I possess all 5. I want to serve you. I want to make this the best place in the country to live, and I need your help on May 17th. My name is Brad Murphy. Thank you.
Good afternoon, Nash County. That's what I'm talking about. Hey, this is beautiful. Sheriff, I agree 100% with everything you said. I want to just spend one of my minutes just recognizing Sergeant Hams. You know, I'm a retired military officer, and I was in the Signal Corps, and he's part of the Signal Corps. And if I could look like you, wow, I tell you, he can wear the same clothes that he wore when he left the service. Now, I spent 20 years in the military, and I used to be a sergeant too before I became an officer and got my commission through Fort Bragg. But I just salute you and appreciate you for your service, and I just thank you for all that you've done for this great nation. Now, I'm Ernest Reese, running for the United States Congress, and I'm just getting straight to it. I believe that I can be in the Democrat on the other side. I've only been a Republican for 10 months. Some of you all voted for me in 2020. I ran for governor. In 2014 and 16, I ran for the United States Senate, and I'm the former 3rd Congressional District winner, and I went to the Journal against Walter B. Jones, got 100,000 votes against Mr. Jones. Now, I lost the district, but there's something very important about that district. 7 of those counties are now in the 1st Congressional District, and I received a whopping 40,000 Democratic votes during the 2016 general election. I don't believe that any of the state senators that's running, I don't believe that they can beat me one-on-one in the general election, because I believe my background can stand against anybody. Now, finally, I am a retired military officer. I retired from the Pentagon after 20 years in the military. I spent 6.5 years outside of the United States. I served in the Middle East, and also had a chance to spend special duty at the White House and serve personally, handpicked to serve Ambassador Bremer, who was in charge of Iraq. I took Ambassador Bremer to see the Secretary of the Army, Secretary of Defense, and of course, the President of the United States. So I believe that I'm qualified. I ask you for favor, and I ask you for your vote. I'm Ernest Reese. Thank you.
How you doing? Yes, sir. So my name is Brent Roberson, and I am a logger and a contractor from Williamston. I am not a politician. I'm married to my wife Anita for 21 years. Together we have a daughter named Mary Spencer, who's 19, who attends Ole Miss, and a son Liam, who is 16, who's in high school, and when he gets finished practicing baseball, he tends 125 acres. That's his job. I didn't want to be a politician, and that all changed back in November of last year when I was sitting there praying and complaining about the state of our country in the same breath. And the thought came to me, if you're not willing to do anything about it, stop complaining. So I sat there in bewilderment, and I wondered if it was me or God. And after a few moments, I said, God, if you're asking me who shall I send Brent. So from that moment on, I've been running for Congress. That's all the thought that was put in this run. For me, that's good enough, but it might not be for some other people. So I graduated North Carolina State in 1995 with a political science degree. I didn't know whether I wanted to be a lawyer or a dirt mover. I ended up being a dirt mover, and I started a company with me and one guy and $4,000 in the bank. And I grew it to me and 125 guys doing $20 million a year in 10 years. I'm also a well-rounded guy. I have 25 plus professional licenses that range from federal firearm license, helicopter pilot, real estate broker, auctioneer. I'm pro-life. I support the Second Amendment. I'm for energy independence, food independence, and medicine independence. I support a border wall, and most of all, I support District 1. You may say, well, what makes you separate or separates you from everybody else? It's simple. I look like, I work like, and I live like District 1. I am District 1. I worked in 18 of the 19 counties, and there's nobody else running who has done that. So I will represent District 1, I will represent God, and if you want somebody that's blue collar to go and represent you, then vote Brent, May 17th.
Guys, I tell you what, I really appreciate being home. I've been on the road for, it feels like 17 counties or so it's awesome to be here. Look, y'all know me. I'm from here, been from here, several generations from here. I've been a job creator. You know, I'm currently the mayor of the city of Rocky Mount. So one of the things, the biggest challenges I had as I was just elected as mayor, as you guys know, I received an audit from Beth Wood. And so it was quite an eye-opening experience. Needless to say, how we resolved that, how we set the table for transparency, which was one of the things, the keystones of my campaign, was working with Lisa Barnes, and I'm sorry she's not here, but I'm glad she's not here celebrating the birth of her grandchild, but creation of Senate Bill 473, which she shepherded through both the House and the Senate and created transparency for locally elected officials. That's a big deal, guys, and I'm very happy. I'll also say that I have a tremendous amount of respect for you, Sheriff Stone, and I appreciate all the great work you've done here in Nash County. And I'm just as proud that the City of Rocky Mount's violent crime rate is down 61%. We got a long ways to go. I'm not going to suggest otherwise. But I'll tell you, it's something that's moving in the right direction. It's one of the issues that we have indicated to be the biggest problem. Economic development has been something that we're working on. I believe that we have in our current pipeline about $8 billion of investment ready to come here to the area that will create something in excess of 16,000 jobs. And I'm excited about, in particular, one or two projects that I've had the opportunity to really help shepherd and push through, and hopefully we'll have some big announcements soon. So who am I? I'm a businessman with over three decades of experience. I have 4 adult children and a beautiful wife, Jennifer Stone Roberson, who's sitting right there. I'm a conservative. You guys know me. The bottom line is this: inflation is going to hell. We are in trouble. And I want you to send me to Washington so that I can help fire Nancy Pelosi. And I believe that I can do that, and I'd love to invite you guys to be part of it. I'm Sandy Robertson. I'm currently the mayor of Rocky Mount. I'm seeking the Republican nomination for the 1st District of North Carolina. Thank you.
You want me to wait? Come on, guys. I know. Hold on, let me get it set up. Even with my palms, I'm still a little short for the mic. How's everyone doing tonight? Hold on. How's everyone doing tonight? Are you guys ready to win in 2022 and take back our country? I don't hear that. Are you guys ready? Then I need your help. I'm Sandy Smith. I was your 2020 1st Congressional District nominee. I made history with your help by swinging this district 25 points. Something that's never been done in history. We got just under 160,000 votes. We didn't have to go into a runoff. We won our primary straight out with 77% of the vote. And I'm going to tell you, it's time we send a true fighter. I'm thrilled to have 7 other men try to take me on in this race. Because I'm flattered, because we have tried for decades to shine a bright, shiny light on our district, and everyone has ignored it. And because of my hard work and getting out and working with all of you, we have shined that light and brought the attention that the 1st Congressional District needs. Now let me say this. I believe we need to build the wall and secure our borders. Our law enforcement here have a tough enough job, and we do not need to be letting criminals come into our country and kill our families with these drugs. It's terrible. I'm very strong and support our law enforcement, so strong that I actually have the endorsement of the former ICE Director, Tom Homan. I also have endorsements of other sheriff members throughout our 1st Congressional District. I'm 100% pro-life. I believe life begins at conception, and I believe there is only 2 genders, and that is decided by our Creator at conception. You're darn right. This garbage that the left's pushing, I'm done with it, and we cannot have a weak-kneed jellyfish Republican. We need a strong conservative fighter that's going to stand up to CRT and not allow the government to indoctrinate our children with this garbage that they can choose their gender or that they should be judging each other by the color of their skin. I only got 30 seconds. Oh, that's it. That's the red one. I missed the yellow one. I always miss that yellow one. You get excited up here, I tell you. I'm Sandy Smith. You can find me online at sandysmithnc.com. I'm your America First fighter, and I'm not stopped fighting for the 1st District, and I'm not going to. God bless you, God bless America, and God bless the great state of North Carolina. By the way, I'm so proud to call Nash County my home. God bless you.
Billy Strickland. Lend me an ear, I'll tell you a little bit about myself. I ran away from home when I was 15 years old because I had a home that was worth leaving. I hung out with some bikers who helped manage to teach me to be a mechanic and get through high school. I graduated, albeit with a 1.9 GPA. I actually graduated. I joined the Army, the National Guard. After that, I actually moved up here to Nash County over here in Castalia and actually a little town called Wood, where I cowboyed and worked ranches like Rose Hill and broke horses. And then I started rodeoing and riding bulls in the rodeo circuit. While I was there riding bulls, I met my lovely bride, Miss Jennifer. We've been married for 23 years. We have 4 teenagers. My wife taught me what it was like to have a family, what it was like to be a family, and she led me to the Lord. My wife put me through Campbell undergrad. I always wanted to be a lawyer. I know that's strange, but that's what I want to be. I want to be a lawyer. She put me through undergrad at Campbell University. Then without any money in our pocket, we moved to the Great Dismal Swamp and went to the only Christian law school at the time, which is Regent University. After we got back from the Dismal Swamp, I started my own practice for a little bit. I came up here to Vance County, worked as a city attorney, went back home, had 4 children under the age of 5. So we went back home to be around the family, this farming community, and started our own practice. We have a law firm there with 7 attorneys, 2 offices, 23 employees. We've done quite well, and the Lord has really blessed us. And I get to thinking, why in the world would I run for Congress? And you know why, folks? Is I want my children to have a home that's worth staying in. The reason why I'm running for Congress is I want my children, I want your children to have an Eastern North Carolina that's worth staying in, folks, because they're leaving in droves. We must and must do better for our children. We can and must do better for our neighbors. Folks, I have been a soldier. I've been a cowboy. I've rode bulls. I've worked a mechanic. I've done construction work. I've done it just about all, and I'm an attorney. But I'm a father. I'm a husband. I'm a Christian and a lifelong conservative. If you send me to Washington, I will fight for you like my life depends on it, because it does. Thank you.
Good evening. My name is Will Aiken, 35 years old. I'm from Warren County. I'm a Christian, conservative, America First law enforcement officer running for U.S. House right here in District 1. I spent the last 14 years fighting crime in the streets. Now I'm ready to go to D.C. and fight the crime in the suites. If you send me to D.C., yes, we will build the wall. We will end chain migration. We will empower HSI and ICE to come out here and actually do their jobs. I will be strong on crime. I will always defend my brothers and sisters in blue. You want to defund the police? How about I get up there and we defund Obamacare? I'll always stand for our Second Amendment. And I believe abortion is wrong and that life begins at conception. It's important that we not just send someone up there who can fight. We need to send someone up there who knows what it's like to get up every day and stand for something. I've spent my career showing up in dangerous places and solving problems. Washington, D.C. will be no different. My name's Will Aiken. You can find me at willaiken.com. We've got enough criminals in D.C. It's time we send a cop. Thank you.
Hi, everybody. It's great to be here, to be home. Most of you know me. I am Beth Freshwater Smith. I'm running for the North Carolina Court of Appeals. I currently serve as a district court judge here for Nash, Edgecombe, and Wilson counties. And a lot of you already know my story, but as a 7th grader, I wrote a paper on lawyers. And I just thought that they were so great because they gave back to the community, the ones that I knew in my little town of Morehead City. And they were public servants, and that's what I wanted to be. So I've always wanted to go to law school, and I wanted to clean up the streets, and these guys down here know it. I came here because I was going to be a prosecutor, and I did it for 29 years, or 28 years. Anyway, it was a long time. And I just, and then I realized that I thought maybe I could make things better by being a district court judge. So that's what I do now. And I make tough decisions every single day. And I want you to know that I am a true conservative. I always have been. Just ask the Democrats over there in Wilson and Edgecombe. And they will tell you that my heart is with our country. Now, we need judges that follow the law. Used to, nobody paid any attention to the judges' races or our school board races, but we see how important they are. And that's why I want you all, and I appreciate the fact that you're here, because we need to get educated about our judges. Just because you're a Republican doesn't mean you're conservative. Now, I would like to say that I am honored to be endorsed by our sheriff, Keystone. And I consider that an endorsement that I can really be proud of. So, I'm Beth Freshwater Smith, and I have a webpage, which is www.votefreshwatersmith. If you have any questions, you know where to find me. I'll be in the courtroom tomorrow, right here. And I have a little tagline that I was given by Senator Perry. North Carolinians are thirsty for judges that follow the law. North Carolina needs fresh water. So.
Good evening, everyone. I am Donna Stroud, and I'm very honored to serve you now as Chief Judge of the North Carolina Court of Appeals. I was first elected in 2006 to the court, and then when Chief Justice Newby came in 2020, thanks to your great efforts in getting all of our Republican candidates elected in 2020, he appointed me as Chief Judge of the court. Just a very little bit about my background. I was born and raised in Keystone, North Carolina. Decided I wanted to be an attorney in 3rd grade. Not really sure why. No lawyers in my family. No one went to college in my family. But I stuck with that and then went to Campbell University, graduated in 3 years because it's cheaper that way, and then went to Campbell Law School where I graduated first in my class. After that, I wanted to get out into a courtroom and represent people and do a variety of cases. So I was in general practice for 16 years in eastern Wake County. I actually practiced a lot here in Nash County because I lived right over near 5 County Stadium where all the counties run together. After practicing for about 16 years, I became a district court judge in Wake County. So I have the experience as a trial court judge as well. And then I've been, of course, on the Court of Appeals since 2006. I want to take a little bit of my, time just to mention the fact there's a card on your tables with, because we do have 4 seats on the Court of Appeals up this year. We have 15 judges on the court. We have 10 Republicans, and we have 4 seats up. It gets confusing, but we need to keep our 2 Republicans on the court, myself, Judge John Tyson, and then we need to get Republicans in those other seats that are now held by Democrats. I have been a Christian conservative judge on the court. You hear a lot of crazy things coming out of the courts in Raleigh. I was not on any of those. Those are the Supreme Court, and that's why we need the Supreme Court to have those conservative Republicans elected in those races. If you don't remember anything else, just remember, because we all have to have our little phrases now, you can be proud to vote for Stroud. I would appreciate your support, your prayers, and your vote. Thank you.
How's everybody doing tonight? Can you guys hear me? I've got the opposite height challenge of Sandy. So I don't have any catchphrases. My name's Alan Chesser. I'm a combat veteran, former law enforcement officer. I'm a Christian. I'm the father of all those kids you see on that brochure on your table. I want to tell you a little bit about why I jumped into this particular race. All right. April will be 2 years ago. We were in the midst of COVID. Everybody remembers that. But my wife had to sit in a doctor's office alone and receive the news that there's supposed to be 6 kids in that picture, alone. She received the news that we weren't bringing our baby home because someone arbitrarily decided that it would be unsafe for her to sit in the doctor's office with the man she had just drove 45 minutes in a car with and slept in the bed beside the night before. I had to learn that my daughter wasn't coming home in a text message. I am fighting to ensure that that never happens again in North Carolina. I'm a battle-tested conservative. That's a fancy way of telling you guys I'm a combat veteran, all right? I've proven myself in battle. I've stood up for our rights and our values for the last 10 years already. I'm not telling you guys what I'll start doing if you put me in Raleigh. I'm asking you to put me in Raleigh so I can keep doing what I've been doing for the last 10 years. I'd be honored if you guys chose me to fight for you in Raleigh. Again, my name's Alan Chesser. Love you guys.
Can y'all hear me all right up here? Yes, sir. All right. I'm also Heath Hopkins. I'm the youngest candidate in my race for District 24 State House Representatives. And I wanted to use this opportunity up here to introduce myself to y'all and explain why I'm running, who I am as a man, and why you should vote for me to lead this party in that election. I grew up off Highway 95 near Samaria until my parents divorced when I was around the age of 5, raised in a broken home between Nash County and Gaston County. When I was a young child, my mother worked, raising me and attending graduate school. I thank God every day for the gifts I've been given and for the ability to stand up here with y'all in this nice suit talking to y'all about politics. It means a lot to me. My mama always raised me to be bold. When I saw a problem, she wanted me to fix it. So I see the problems ailing our country, this county, and it angers me. It makes me want to stand up and do something. So even though I'm a student attending classes at NC State University currently, my aim is to throw my hat in this ring and see what I can do to move our party in a new direction, to bring youth into it, boldness and vigor. That's what I'm here for. I was taking classes at Gaston Community College, all the way on the other side of Charlotte, and they ran out of classes for my major. I'm a history major. So I picked up roots, and I moved in here with my grandparents all the way across the state, and I've never looked back. I love it here in Nash County. My blood's here. My family's been here for generations. And I look around this country, and I see it seems that everybody's got an advocate these days. Everyone's got someone standing up for them. Well, I look at Nash County, and I want to be that advocate. I want to stand up for y'all. I want to fight for who we are and bring positive change to our community. I want to pass legislation that puts more money in your pocket, that brings more jobs to our area, that shows our values to the world, that raises our county up to be the envy of the world. That's my ambition. That's why I'm running for this House seat, and I hope you'll consider me come the election. Thank you.
Good evening, Nash County. I'm Yvonne McLeod, and I am a native of Jamaica, and I am a naturalized U.S. citizen of the greatest country of this world, the USA. Amen. I'm going to be a little bit different than most people you've seen. I sound a little bit different. I am a little bit different, and I'm going to be a little bit different. I have a worldview that starts in the beginning. I am an image bearer of the Lord Jesus Christ, the greatest God on earth, as is each one of you, image bearers. We don't look alike, but we are alike. At no point am I going to be oppressed or a victim. And I don't think because you don't look like me that you are oppressors. I live here, I work here, I worship here. Nash County is my home. It has been my home for the last 15 years. It's where I work, it's where I live, it's where I worship. It is where I want to advocate, because we are worth advocating for. I have been the Fay Eagles recipient of the Volunteer Award right here in Nash County. I won that. I was the 2nd District's nominee to the North Carolina Republican Party Hall of Fame. I won that. I am on the Nash County Board of sorry, the Nash County Executive Board, 8 years. And I have been endorsed by a wonderful former representative of Nash County, Jeff Collins. I am Yvonne McLeod. This is my home. This is where I live, this is where I worship, and this is where I want to advocate, because we are worth it. I want your vote, not because of anything other than you need the best, and I will be that best person. Yes, no more sitting back, no more saying no, no more standing on the sidelines. I need your vote. Let's do this, Nash County. Let's once again turn Nash County red. I'm Yvonne McLeod, and I want your vote. Thank you.
Hello, everyone. I'm Thomas Winstead. I'm a candidate for Nash County Commissioner seat in District 5. I was born and raised on a farm in Nash County around the Corpus community, a little smaller community called Sandy Cross. I went to Southern Nash High School, then I went on to Atlantic Christian College in Wilson, which is now known as Barden. My first job in Nash County was a teacher coach for about 2.5 years. Then I transitioned to working with the Division of Highways in Nash County. In 1985, I was hired by Lonnie Poole and became a branch manager up in Wilson with Waste Industries. I progressed through the management ranks there over my tenure with Waste Industries and to a senior vice president with the company. I have experience in developing and managing multi-million-dollar budgets, managed operations and collections, landfills, recycleries, did acquisitions in 7 states from Pennsylvania to Georgia. I have experience in working with local municipalities, county governments, state governments. For 3 years, I was legislative chairman for the North Carolina South Carolina chapter of the National Solid Waste Management Association. I retired with Waste Industry with 34 years of service. Community, I'm a retired member of the Corpus Volunteer Fire Department Rescue Squad with 34 years of service. I'm currently on the Board of Trustees at North Carolina Wesleyan College, and my wife and I are financially supporters of Nash Community College. Family, my wife is a retired school teacher at Southern Nash Senior High. My daughter is currently in education at Southern Nash with 19 years of service. She's part of the CTE program and Career Technical Education program. My son is 20 years in law enforcement here in Nash County. I have 4 focus points. 1, health and public safety as a priority. Invest in our schools and educators. Focus on strategic financial planning and smart growth to protect our quality of life. Thank you.
How's everybody this evening? You doing all right? So first of all, I see a lot of you here. I know a lot of you, but if you don't know me, my name is Megan Collins. I'm a sophomore at Campbell University, and I'm proudly this evening speaking on behalf of my grandfather. I call him my pa, Wayne Outlaw, who's seeking his 4th term in the District 5 County Commissioner District. I've had a very special relationship with my grandfather because when I was 2 years old, I had a kidney transplant, Duke, and a little bit later on in 2015, I had scoliosis surgery. He's never missed a doctor's appointment with me. He's always taken me to Duke. Anything I need, I can call him, and I love him. We've also had a special friendship over baseball, and we travel around with a group of friends to all the colleges, and I can say at 19, he's truly my best friend. My grandfather, he's been involved in public service and community his whole life. He's been had a great relationship with his volunteer fire departments. He's been a strong member of Inglewood Baptist Church his whole life, and he's been in the Roarton Club for many years and served as Roarton president in 2008, national president. And I think that should go to show you that not only does he care about his district, but he cares about the people that make up his district. Why I think you should re-elect my grandfather, I think, first of all, you will not meet a person in his district or anybody he's ever ran across that said he was a dishonest person. He's going to tell you the truth. It's always going to be the truth, and he's going to look you in the eye and tell you. Personally, for me, what I've seen personally, he is the strongest worker and work ethic I've ever seen. I'll call him at 10:30 at night, where are you going? What are you up to? I'm working. He's always making phone calls, calling people in his district. checking on people, and I think that should go very commemorable with him. Thank you. He's also, like I mentioned, had a special relationship with the fire departments in his district, and I have a text I'd like to share with you from Rocky Mount Fire Chief, or former Fire Chief Keith Harris, who's a member of District 5, and he said, "Wayne, you always have my support. I understand the critical role you play on the Board of Commissioners. You always analyze issues and get into the details in fiscal matters, yet you're not opposed to supporting important matters that cost taxpayer money. A good example is support you've shown the county fire and emergency services. In particular, I appreciate your support of the Westmount Volunteer Fire Department. I would appreciate a yard sign that would display it with pride. And one more thing I want to say, if when I grow up, if I can be half the man that Wayne Outlaw is, half the father and half the husband, I've done a great job with my wife. Thank you. Thank you all very much."
Well, good evening, Nash County. Thank you so much for inviting all the candidates to be here. I'm here to speak on behalf of Judge April Wood. Judge April Wood is currently a judge with the North Carolina Court of Appeals, and she is your Christian conservative candidate for the North Carolina Supreme Court. Now, Judge Wood believes that the Constitution means what it says and should be interpreted the way it was written in the 1700s. There is no room for judicial activism on our court, and we as a party need to put a stop to that. So Judge Wood is running for North Carolina Supreme Court for two reasons. The first reason is experience. She has over 20 years of trial court experience. And the second reason is because of the importance of this race. Nash County, this November, we have the chance to take back our Supreme Court. Judge Wood is a proven winner. Out of the history of North Carolina judicial races, she is the second highest earner of votes. This is not the time to gamble with our courts. We need experienced candidates who are proven winners. So, to make the North Carolina Supreme Court good, vote for Judge April Wood. Thank you, everybody.
We need to put it up where it belongs. Many of you know I've already endorsed Alan Chester, and I'm not here to talk about that. I want to say that I am for Beth Wood. She is a person of integrity. I love her like a sister. She's been on my show several times. I'm for her staying on the Court of Appeals. And my reason for that is if she were to win the position of Supreme Court Justice, she'd do a great job. There's no question about that. Our governor would then would appoint her replacement on the Court of Appeals. And that would be a terrible outcome. So I'm up here to talk about Trey Allen. Trey Allen is a conservative for the Supreme Court. He served in the United States Marine Corps. His wife has homeschooled their 5 children. They share their faith in God openly. Trey serves as general counsel, the top lawyer for the state's entire court system. Matter of fact, he was the first phone call that our Chief Justice, Paul Newby, made after he was elected to hire him to run the courts. Trey is a man of integrity. He runs those courts incredibly well. Chief Justice Paul Newby appointed Trey as general counsel. Trey is honored to have had Paul ask him to run, to take that position. He believes that judges should follow the Constitution. He is a constitutionalist and originalist. We don't need to use our courts for legislative purposes, and I believe that completely. Trey's 22-year legal career includes partnership at a major law firm, and he is labeled a distinguished professor at UNC Law School. Yes, a conservative. Trey Allen is a conservative choice for Supreme Court. Remember this phrase, don't go astray, vote for Trey. And by the way, I'm having a fundraiser for Trey Monday from 5:30 to 7 p.m. at Sandy Robertson's building in downtown Rocky Mount. Please come out and support him. Thank you.
How about that? Those three circuits weren't too bad either, were they? The last three. They're not running for anything. I would like to vote for those three. But no, what a great group of candidates we had tonight. And pay attention, do a little more research. It's a critical election. And most importantly, thank every one of you for what you're doing for our party and being involved and making those phone calls and bringing your friends, because we need to, like I say, we need a red wave this midterm. It's critically important to our country. Thank you for your time tonight.